Welcome back, everyone. This is the second war video that I'll be posting. This one is, I think, war number 11 of season 47, and it's also the last war of that season that I'll be posting. The actual last war of the season, we ended up just not trying hard, not pushing in that war. Because this war, spoiler alert, we end up losing this war, and there was no way that we could actually break into the next tier, or the next rewards level, win or lose. So I didn't bother recording that war. This one will be the last one. This is a lengthy one. The previous war video was just focusing on one fight. This one will show all the fights that I did. So that's the 4 path fights. This is going to be path 4, and then 2 mini boss fights. All right. So because it is quite a number of fights here, let's just get right into it. The first match here is going to be against Namor. Again, this is path 4. So these first 2 fights, the name of the game is that you're building up debuffs whenever you're close to the opponent. So let's go to the matchup screen. Just hide my face, and let's go to the matchup. And so you can see that the name of the node is Steady Build Up Fury. So as you're close to him, or I think whenever you get 3 or more debuffs, he's going to be getting a Fury. Also, as you're close to him, he is also putting debuffs on you. I think on this node, it's Fatigue debuffs. He's a tactic defender. That being said, it's Namor, not the hardest defender. I actually encountered and died to a Namor very early in the season. That was before I really fully understood how to play this tactic. So now that I'm more fully aware of it, I really don't expect to have any problems here. So I'm going to be going in with Lady Deathstrike. She is a tactic attacker. So because it's a tactic attacker, I'm going to be trying to intercept whenever the opponent's below 1 bar so that I can get that taunt up on him, which then will allow me to both drain his power after his specials, as well as, most importantly, block his specials, even if they're unblockable. Lady Deathstrike herself also can block unblockable specials whenever she has a heal block up on her opponent. So I'm also going to be, just for that additional safety net, ending my combos with a medium. The special one, probably I could dex it, but I'm not even going to bother trying. There's no point, so I'm just going to block the specials. The one tricky thing, and what actually killed me the first time that I faced Namor, was that I forgot about Imperious Rex and the fact that he'll be building up, because he has that sudden burst of power. If he does get to Imperious Rex, not only are you in some danger, depending on timing of him throwing an L3 at you, but also he's instantly going to get 6 of those Daunted, or whatever they're called, passives. So really all I'm trying to do is I'll keep an eye on the outrage stacks, and if it looks like he's getting close, I'll try to make sure that I parried him, and that I'm attacking him while he's going into Imperious Rex mode, so that he can't just surprise me with an L3. But all that being said, this is going to be a pretty straightforward fight, I'm confident. So let's go back to the footage here, and let's see how that fight goes. So again, I'm going in with Lady Deathstrike. I think I'm already boosted. Moderately boosted, I think, for this fight. Again, I'm fairly confident in this one, so I'm not going in max boosts. As we enter, I'm going to be looking for that intercept. Let's see how quickly I get it. So I do 4 hits, yep, and then I get it right away, so that's fortunate. And I also end up with the medium, so now I have both the heal block going, and I do have the taunt. And I noticed there that even though I said I was blocking the specials, I actually did dex the first hit of his L1. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but pretty safe. And I did it again there. Again, it's a pretty easy first hit to dex, so if I was playing ultra safe, I would have just blocked everything, but it's not a big deal. And so before he even gets close to Imperious Rex, he's already down. Right, so that's that fight done in the bin. So the next matchup is against Dust. And I was slightly nervous for this matchup, just because Dust is a newer defender. The key thing was I didn't have a hard time fighting her in the EQ, but if I'm going to be rooted when she's throwing her specials, I wasn't completely sure that I could dex the L1 while I'm that close to her. So I'm going with Lady Deathstrike again. And the name of the game here is, again, standard, because she's tactic. I'm going to be trying to get that taunt. I'm going to be trying to finish my combos with medium for the heal block. I don't want to get that L2, because the L2, I'm not sure how much damage it does, but it certainly looks a lot more devastating than the L1. So if I can just stick to the L1, bait it, I'll try to evade it, because I don't want her to put too many sand debuffs on me, because then she can start Sandstorm and then start doing damage over time to me. I want to avoid that whole situation. So yeah, I feel fairly confident, but because it's a newer defender, anything can happen, so a little bit wary of that. So let's get this down and go back to the footage, and let's go ahead and enter the fight. So again, it is this steady build-up Fury. Whenever they get 3 debuffs, they are going to be stacking a Fury, and now the key thing here is now it's weakness now that the defender's going to be putting on me instead of the fatigues, and you'll see how that comes into play. Something I didn't really account for. So let's see how early I get the intercept. Pretty early on. She's heal blocked. I end up not being able to full evade, but that's fine. So she puts some dust on me, whatever. I think actually she's already in Sandstorm, and you can see that ticking away at me. That time I at least dodge the first bullet or whatever projectile she throws, but I don't dex the second one. So I enter into Ferocity here. I know that I've got the heal block up, so I have that safety net. Again, I can't dex that second hit for L1. But I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I've lost some health, but she looks at this point like she's ticking down. What I don't notice at this point is how quickly those weakness debuffs are actually stacking on me. So I'm just merely proceeding along, blissfully unaware. I finally full dex the L1 there. I get another taunt up, or I get another intercept up to get some taunt, refresh the taunt. Still finishing with mediums. And I think I start noticing somewhere around here, maybe a little bit later, but it's around here that I start noticing, oh, I don't seem to be doing as much damage as I would have thought. And I notice, oh, I have 17 weakness debuffs on me. That's bad. I'd better get out of this. So actually I push her to L2 without thinking about it. Fortunately, it doesn't really do that much damage on the block. But now I start backing off. I'm like, okay, 19 weakness debuffs is just too much. Even though she's down to 8%, I want to let these bleed off of me. But it's taking a while. And she's starting to back me into the corner, and I still have 14... yes, they're not actually falling off all that quickly, so I'm all the way in the corner, down to 13 only, and I think at this point I just say, okay, I gotta go for that intercept, and I've just got to try and finish this fight. It's only 5%, even if I do have all these weaknesses, so I go ahead and I throw the L2, and again, despite the weaknesses, she's done. But she took a ton of health off of me. I wasn't expecting the fight to be that bad for me. But yeah, I blocked some specials. I took some of the Sandstorm, and then most importantly, just the fight went on a lot longer than it needed to, because I wasn't mindful of backing off and letting those weakness debuffs expire off of me. So that's a lesson to be learned for next time. But on to the third fight, and actually this was probably the fight of the war that I was most nervous about. And you might think that's slightly odd, because Scorpion, he's not, he certainly can be tricky, but he's not the absolute hardest defender. But I was nervous because, he is tactic, which means that, that L1, whether I'm rooted or not, I have no chance of dexing that up close to him. So I definitely don't want to come in with someone who's not poison immune. Because that's going to be, one, a lot of debuffs on me, which is going to cause him to go unblockable, and number two, obviously poisons are going to be doing a lot of damage, but then maybe the most important is that number three, those poisons are going to be acting as power stings, and it's going to stop me from throwing any specials. So I was thinking about all the, the tactic attackers that I had available, and I really wasn't coming with a great option for this fight. I asked my officers, and they were recommending Shang-Chi, which definitely would have been a much smarter play. But I don't really ever play Shang-Chi, and so I was doing some duels with him, and I couldn't get comfortable with it. I just got nervous that if I get into a bad spot in the fight, because I'm not that familiar with Shang-Chi, chances are I'm going to start panicking and I'm not going to quite know, well, how do I reset? How do I get back to a good state? I'm not going to have the benefit of muscle memory to assist me. So what I decided to do was just to come in with the brain dead option, my 7-star rank 3 Hulk, and just try to smash him down as quickly as possible. So game plan is try and push him to 2 bars. Even though Hulk is poison immune, and if he throws the L1, well, at least I won't get poisons on me. But still, I have no chance of dexing the L1, whereas the L2 I thought probably could dex the L2. So push him to 2 bars. I do have to play around his Scorpion Sense since Hulk has no way of suppressing his evade. So as long as he doesn't have Scorpion Sense, just hit him normally. But once he does have Scorpion Sense active, I want to make sure that I'm holding block so that I try and push him to 2 bars if possible. So push him to those 2 bars, try and do the full dex of the L2 because I'm not going to have any way of dealing with his unblockable. And because it's Hulk, just try to get him down as quickly as possible. So that's the idea. And you can tell probably by the way that I'm saying that things don't go entirely to plan. So let's go ahead and start this video back up. I do put on an invuln boost, which is very fortunate. Again, as you'll see, I really need every bit of help I can get in this fight. So it starts off okay. I follow the plan more or less from the start of the fight. I don't get the initial parry, but I back him up a little bit. Now I get my parry. So I'm going ahead and I give him space to come in and let me get the second parry. Now he does have Scorpion Sense active. For whatever reason, I actually don't make sure to only attack while he's stunned, and so he does throw the L1. Now he's unblockable, he throws another one, and now I'm feeling a little bit of panic here. And you'll see what I do about that panic, because he's unblockable, and he's got Scorpion Sense. So I've got to wait for those 3 debuffs that you see to expire. Even once they expire, I get a second debuff. I'm actually not sure what that debuff is, but another debuff proc, so I have to wait for that one to expire, because you have to get all the way to 0 debuffs before his unblockable will go away. So finally, I'm at that state, and so I'm hitting only when he's stunned. And then for whatever reason, I decide to throw the L2 even though I'm not in Gamma Rage form. I don't know why I did that. Throw the Striker. Again, I tried to just finish it, and disaster. He throws his L2. I'm at 30%. He's got me. He's unblockable for whatever reason. Providence intervenes, and he doesn't actually finish me. He only does a 3-hit combo, and that gives me the window I need to finish him. So fortunately, this was the only fight of the war that I needed Hulk for. So the fact that I lost all that health doesn't mean that I'm now have to refill his health, at least. But still, that's certainly, I don't want to ever come that close to dying in a fight that's as conceptually simple as that one. So fortunately I didn't die, but yeah, it definitely humbled me a bit. So the fourth fight of this path is against Professor X. I'm not sure why they bothered placing Professor X. Let's bring the matchup screen on here. Yes, he is tactic, but there's really no problem with his specials. The only thing special about Professor X is that he has that falter, which really isn't that big a deal. This is going to be the third Lady Deathstrike fight of the war. And really all I'm going to do is, again, make sure I get the intercept, finish with the medium for the heal block, watch out for the falter. But other than that, there's no way I can die to this fight, really, realistically speaking. Unless I do something absolutely moronic. So let's go ahead and see the footage. I do have this this power sting debuff that's periodically going to come up on me, but I'm not really that concerned about it. I have Lady Deathstrike back at full health after that dust fight, Even if I take a Power Senior too, no big deal. I'm not going to use her for any more fights this war. Also, this is, I don't even think this is a 6R5. I think this might have been a 6R4. So you can see how quickly his health is ticking down. So he's got the Falter. Go ahead and parry, trigger the Falter. I actually do get hit, but you know, I still have the Indestructible from the previous. And even if I didn't, you can see the nanobots kicked in. You know, she just would have healed it all back up. Arguably, would have been better if I just face blocked it. So, throw the L2. I'm in Ferocity. Now I properly do Dex's special, but yeah, it's not going to matter. Go ahead and get rid of his Falter. Get that opening, and it's going to be game over for him. I didn't even really need to do that intercept, but why not? Okay, so on to the next fight. So now the path is done. Fortunately, I did not die in any of my path fights, although I came pretty close, much closer than I should have. But now we're on to mini bosses. So because I only used 2 attackers for my path fights, Lady Deathstrike and then Hulk for that one fight. For the first time this whole season, I actually had a 3rd slot open just to, you know, purely for mini bosses. So I saw that there was a Gorr and a Maestro unclaimed, and I thought, okay, well, I just recently took my Tigra up to R5 Ascended. Seems like as good a time as any to make use of that, right? So these are 2 defenders that she should just chew right through. For the most part, Maestro always can be a little bit dicey, but Gorr and Maestro, certainly Tigra is one of the top options that you want to use for either one of those. So this first matchup against Gorr, it's on node 42, which is the power efficiency, so he's not going to be losing full power when he throws his specials. Make a stand, which means I have to knock him down in order to do full damage, and then one eye open, which means that if I hit him while he's stunned, I'm going to get that damage reflected back to me. So it is going to be a Tiger fight. It's a fairly straightforward Tiger fight. So, you know, with Gorr, I'm going to have to parry once or twice, but I don't want to be taking too many hits on my block, even if I'm baiting heavy, right? Because he is going to be putting some debuffs on me. But if I take a few, it's fine. Bait the heavy, punish with heavy, throw the L2. I didn't really need a power start one for this, but because I was taking Maestro right after this, I decided, you know what, I'll go ahead and pop the power start one on now. This fight's going to be over fairly quickly, hopefully, and then I can still have it active when I go and attack Maestro. So that's the plan. Let's see how it actually works out. So let's start the footage back up. And I don't think this is a fight I've done before, but I've seen other people do the fight. I've certainly fought Gorr with Tigra quite a few times, so I'm not nervous going into this. So I want to bait that heavy. I get it right away. Go ahead and punish with a heavy of my own. Push him back a little bit. I get the intercept. I'm close to 2 bars, and now I make a mistake. I bait the L1 properly, but I decide, you know what? Let me get another heavy, and not realizing that I was already at 3 bars. So now I'm throwing my L3. Inside, I'm just kind of, you know, disgusted with myself, but I know that, you know what, this doesn't ruin the fight. It really doesn't matter. He's going to throw his L1. I'm going to be able to punish it with a heavy. I'll pretty quickly get back to my L2, and it'll be fine. So yeah, I just have to let him throw a few L1s. Again, I've got that spacing pretty well down. And then I realize his health is so low, I don't even need to wait for the second L2. I can just do an L1, and it's totally fine. Okay, last fight of the war. Haven't died yet. Pretty happy about that because, you know, it's taking a decent amount of volume. And yeah, it's always nice to get through a war without dying. So this last one, Maestro. I have taken this particular matchup. Let's bring up the details. But I've taken this particular matchup before in lower tiers. I've never taken it at this tier, but conceptually, I think it's the same approach. This is the Stunning Reflection Mini, which means that I can't stun him, otherwise he'll just reflect that back on me. It's also Polka Dot Power. So I need to have damaging debuffs up on him, or just be doing any damage over time on him, in order for me to build power. And then I can't be waiting too long without attacking him. The brute force node otherwise will put degen on me. So the concept here is that with Tigra, you want to be able to get heavies up early on. Most importantly, I guess, you know, heavies where you're punishing his heavy. So that way you're actually putting those ruptures on him, and via those rupture debuffs, then you're going to be building the power. I'm also going to be using that power start 1 that's still active from the previous fight. And most importantly, I'm going to have Mystic power boosts on, right? So I'm going to build up those ruptures via punishing his heavy with my own heavy. With the ruptures, my power is going to build up to L2. I'm going to throw the L2 as soon as I can. With the Mystic power back boosts, I should quickly get back to a second L2. I'll throw that. Probably the fight will be done. If not, well, again, the power back boost will give me back a third L2, and I can throw that, and then he's most certainly dead by that point. That's the game plan. It is a sound game plan, but you will see what happens to me. So let's go ahead and start this up. You can see I'm boosted moderately, just a 10 and a 20. I don't put on a Mystic power boost, or sorry, a special boost. I do put on the power boost in 200%. I didn't know exactly what the right level was, but I figured 200 should be pretty safe against a mini boss. So fight starts. I'm going to be looking for that heavy from him. He does not throw it. It's another long set of hits before I throw my first heavy. It's not feeling good about that. And then again, he makes me wait another long time. And so now I throw my L2, and it doesn't do anywhere near as much damage as I was hoping for. You know, it's 40%, but, you know, you can see my power bore. I am not close to that L2. And now I'm seeing my senses, and I realize, oh, my senses have worn off. So even though I'm throwing my second L2, it's not really going to do that much damage. And I know at this point already I've lost the fight. You know, those ruptures, I still have a couple ruptures up, but they're going to fall off, and I'm going to have no way of actually building up additional ruptures. So I'm going to get stuck without being able to get to my L2. So now I'm just, you can see I didn't even get the spacing for that L2 right. I'm just kind of mentally defeated at this point, because I know I can try to take off some more health on his side, but it's over. There's no way that I actually get him down. So I get that heavy, but no ruptures. I'm getting cosmic radiation. Brute force is kicking in. Even with the striker, I take some cosmic radiation damage, and I'm dead. So I was hoping for a Deathless War. I felt like, you know, Scorpion was the one place that I could have died, and I didn't. But then on this easier fight, I did take a death. So that sucked, but you know what? It happens. Again, as I already mentioned at the start of the video, we did lose this war. At this point, I think I was already pretty sure by looking at the death count that we were going to lose, so didn't even bother up healing full. I was pretty sure I'd get it anyway with just the 40%. So I do throw on the power start 1 because, you know, the fight's just a non-starter without that. But yeah, don't bother healing up. Just go straight back in. And you'll see, unfortunately, this one goes much better. So he throws the heavy right away this time. I'm able to get that heavy in, which I didn't mention, it also pauses his timer, whatever it's called, from going. So now I'm at my L2 early. This is how the first fight should have gone. You can see how much power I get. I would have been close to the L2, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. So that's the war. 6 fights, 1 death, 1 very near death. And we ended up losing the war. But still, you know, I learned some things. I think I'm pretty well positioned going into the next war season. It is a fairly difficult meta, as probably many of you know, either because you've actually tried to fight it or you've probably seen a lot of the discussion on the forums. Apparently tomorrow, Jax, or it's targeted for tomorrow that Jax is going to come in with some kind of update about what they're going to do to kind of adjust the meta based on the feedback that they've gotten so far. We'll see what they do. Yeah, maybe I'll make a vid on it if it's anything interesting. But otherwise, It's probably, if I have some interesting fights during the off season, I'll record them. But otherwise, it'll probably be a week or two before I do my next war video. But in the meantime, now they have announced that you'll need to make it to Gladiator Circuit for the next 3 seasons in a row if you want that Nightcrawler reward. And I do want Nightcrawler. He looks great. I've never had a season where I missed a Gladiator Circuit, but still, I'm going to plan to take Battlegrounds a little bit more seriously than I did these past 2 seasons. So I probably will do some Battleground streams during this next week while War is still in its off season. All right. So thanks for joining. Give me feedback if you have any pointers on any of the fights that I took, how I could have done them better. The visualizations, do you like them or not? Please like and subscribe. All right. Thanks. See you all next time.